Greetings and greetings. About 2 weeks ago, I did a post talking about BLUF, which is an acronym which stands for Bottom Line Up Front. A lot of positive feedback, but then I had some questions from various people who inboxed me from LinkedIn. So I just want to develop this idea a little bit more. So when we talk about strategic communication and we talk about being effective communicators and influencers, I want you to think about making sure your bluff is aligned with your approach and your intentions. So three things to keep in mind: your bluff, your approach, and your intentions. So one of the things I want you to think about is how we enter conversations. Difficult dialogues, tough talk, courageous conversations. Our intentions set the tonality, the tone of the interaction. How are you entering? So I want to quote the work right now of one of my favorite researchers, or should I say researchers, the Gottmans, Dr. John and Julie Gottman. And this research comes out of their work around relationships and intimacy, but it's also applicable in the three P's of our life: our private life with our partner, spouse, or significant others, also in your personal life with your platonic friends, your family members, people you engage with in your community, and in your professional life, the work that you do in your career. So as you enter into the conversation, I truly want you to think about, what are my intentions? Do I want to preserve this relationship or do I not care? So if my intentions is to engage in a difficult dialogue, also I want to maintain the relationship if possible without compromising your core standards, ethics, morals, and values, then you really need to think about your intentions. If your intentions are, I don't give a damn, I'm going to say what I feel, how I feel, and if I lose the relationship, oh well. Your intentions informs your approach as a communicator. See, if I want to retain the relationship, I want to keep it, this private, personal, professional relationship, then I'm going to think deeply and deeper about my approach. Will I start with a harsh approach or would I start with a soft approach? The Gottmans talk about a harsh startup and a soft startup. A harsh startup is when you engage, communicate, interact with people with defensiveness, aggressiveness, hostility, disrespect, disregard, minimization. I'm superior, you're inferior. My friends, that will quickly tank the relationship where it goes in a downward spiral. A soft startup, and let me clarify this, soft doesn't mean weak. Soft doesn't mean you're a pushover. Soft means that I realize that I can catch more bees with honey than with vinegar, as the expression goes. Sometimes the harsh startup, even if what you're saying is correct and viable and appropriate in nature, it can push people away. The soft startup is about compassion, empathy, respect, regard, diplomacy, tact, professionalism. So I want you to think about your bluff, your bottom line up front. Here is what I want people to know. I am providing you with context before I give you content. And I would like to set the tone that we go for a dialogue as opposed to a debate. The dialogue says we are going to use assertive communication. The nature of assertive communication is simply this: you talk, I talk, we both share. Let me share this with you. A dialogue honors the Native American talking stick. Whoever holds the talking stick, that person or those persons have the floor. Everyone else must listen respectfully, deeply, intently, actively. They're seeking to comprehend and understand the core of your message. It doesn't mean agreement, my friends. Listening is a great act of showing love. I love the quote by the writer Paul Tillich. Listening is the first duty of love. Powerful. But you know what happens? Our emotions hijack us and they get in the way. And sometimes our emotions become so convoluted that it prevents us from thinking rationally. And we go and we yell and scream and have these emotional outbursts. And guess what? No communication is taking place. So then what occurs? Here is what occurs. We start bumping heads and yelling and screaming. No communication occurs. Let me say that again. No communication occurs. There's a lot of gibberish. You intensify, they intensify. You escalate, they escalate. That's the debate. In the debate, guess what I'm doing? I'm only trying to prove you wrong. And you're trying to prove me wrong. So as I close out, my friends, 3 things to think about. I want you to think about your bluff. What's your bottom line up front? What is that message you want them to get? What do you want to leave them with? What are your intentions? How are you starting? And what's your approach? I am very passionate about helping individuals, teams, leaders, organizations, and communities engage in healthy conversations so we can all thrive, flourish, and succeed. Peace out. This is Dr. Jermaine.